Hello, so today we're doing Garageband. To open up the Garageband app, it's on your dock and it's the one with the guitar. And when it opens up, the first screen is going to look like this. So Garageband has these 8 different templates that can sort of like guide you in whatever song direction you're trying to go in. I'm going to explain some of them. So the ringtone one is specifically for making ringtones for your phone. The voice is specifically for like recording your singing or recording something for a podcast. The amp collection works really well if you have an electric guitar or bass to plug in. And the empty project, it also works better if you have an actual instrument to plug in. So for most of us in DMA, we're going to be using either songwriter, electronic, hip hop, or keyboard collection. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. You're able to adjust the settings on all of them. I'm just going to start with the hip hop one. Okay, and it looks like this. I'm just gonna close some things so it's not really confusing. I'm gonna close the loops right here just by clicking on it. I'm going to close the editor right here, and I'm also gonna close, what is this called? The library. Okay, so this is where our instruments are and where we're actually making our music. So because we chose the hip hop one, it started us out with this initial like background music track. I'm gonna talk about that later, but I'm not right now. So I'm just gonna click the mute button so that we don't get distracted by that background track. And so because we thought we were making a hip hop song, GarageBand has automatically given us these 9 different instruments that we might want to work with. I'm going to click on the first one, sweeping ARP, and to actually hear it, we have to go up to Window, Show Musical Typing. There's also the Command K keyboard shortcut, which you will want to use because we're going to open and close this a lot of times. Okay, so I have my keyboard open, I have the sweeping ARP selected. I'm now able to click on the keyboard and it will play those notes. And when you're playing music on GarageBand, you don't really want to click. You can just type in those keys on your actual computer keyboard. Okay, let's hear what the deep sub bass sounds like, and the fizzy layered bass. Oh, very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the sweeping ARP. But let's say like I don't really like the sweeping ARP. I'd rather use something else. So if I go back up here to the top left, I can click on Library, and this opens up all of the instruments that GarageBand has available for us. Right now we're on the synth one, so I'm just gonna click that top word right here, and it brings me back to all of them. And like I can literally choose whatever kind of instrument I want. I think I'm going to play a harp. Okay. So it just changed it to a harp. I can test out that sound, so nice. And to record my harp, I am going to first, you'll notice that that GarageBand sets you up with bars and beats, and if you know how to use music, that's great. You can leave it. If that's confusing to you, you can change it to time. And so this actually shows you how long the time is for your song. Okay, so I'm on harp. This guy is at the very beginning because I want my harp song to play at the beginning. And I'm gonna click record. And what you'll notice is that when I click record, it waits for 4 beats. So it's gonna be a little thrown off because we're now in seconds and minutes, but it's gonna wait 4 beats before it actually starts recording. And you'll see what that looks like when I hit record. Okay, and to stop it, I just clicked that green square right here, and it stopped playing. To listen to my music again, I can drag this to the beginning, hit the space bar, and it plays what I just recorded. I'm gonna close the keyboard, just so we don't get confused. And I'm now gonna open up the editing section. And that's down here. I'm gonna drag it up so you can see it better. And you'll see, so I'm selected on the harp, and so this is exactly the same as this. And down here in the editing section, I can, well, first off, I can drag this to like play it just like how we did before. Press the space bar to stop it. And I can move the keys, not the keys, but I can move the notes like completely around. I can change the length of them. I can drag, drag that in to be shorter. So even if you, like as you're playing your little keyboard, you record something that doesn't sound very good, you can literally completely change it down here. We're gonna do it again. So we selected the hip hop one, and it's giving us all these different options for instruments. And so what it's saying is like, when you're making a hip hop song, you're probably gonna wanna be using all of these things. And so you are not done once you've created one harp song, okay? You're gonna wanna use a whole bunch of different instruments to make something that's really complicated and sounds really excellent. So we're gonna try all of that again on this next one, the deep sub bass. And again, if I wanna choose something else, I can just click on it over here and it automatically goes to something different. And to open up my keyboard again, I do the keyboard shortcut Command K. Okay, sounds really nice. And to record, I'm going to hit the record button. Okay, so what we noticed was that as I was recording, the harp was also playing. Sometimes that's nice, sometimes it can be distracting. If you don't want to hear that, like if you only want to hear your one thing, all you have to do is mute whatever instrument you don't want to hear. Okay, so now we have these two different like musical things. We can move them around. Okay, so if I want the harp to play first and then the bass after, we can also copy and paste them. Command C, just click somewhere else, and then Command V. I could move that down to a different row, and so what it would do, it would play the notes that I had typed it on my keyboard, but it would play it now with a fizzy layered bass. You can do a lot of things. If we want to create sort of like a loop, you can put your mouse at the top right and just drag it out, and that plays those notes in a loop for however long you want it to go on for. Okay, I'm gonna mute all of these for now, and I'm gonna unmute the trapdoor. So this was the like background music that this like hip hop section selected for us. Sounds pretty good. Again, if I want to change it, I still can just by choosing something else, and that will change the instrument that it plays with. Let's say let's first say I don't like this at all. Okay, so I can just delete it. I can delete any of these just by right clicking and deleting the track. And GarageBand actually gives us a whole bunch of options for like looping background music, and we can access those in the top right where it says Apple Loops. And all of these are like background music loops that we can bring in to our song. So I'm gonna choose one that I like and drag it in. You can't, it's saying you can't drag it in up here, it's not an audio track, but these loops can go in at the very, bottom of all of your tracks. And that's how long, it's about 13 seconds right now. I can just make it longer by finding that little loop button and then dragging it out. Okay. So I now have my 4 different tracks playing. Let's say that maybe the harp is sounding a little bit quiet, and I want the harp to be louder and the fizzy layered bass to be quieter. I can adjust the volume of them by doing this. Okay. Then just click at the beginning, hit the space bar, and that will replay all of it again. I'm not going to play this song because I think it will sound terrible. But those are all the basic things. You guys mess around with that. Again, just make sure you have a whole bunch of different instruments adding different things to your music. And the length of your song will likely, you will likely want it to be the same length as whatever video you are making. So from there, I'm going to save my work. I'm going to go up to File, Save As, And when you open up File Save As, it's will probably look something like this. Right now it says that it's saving in GarageBand. I just want to make it easier for me to find, so I just click that little arrow. And I'm just going to put that on my desktop instead. And I'm going to rename it my name underscore song number 1 that I made. I'm going to click save. Okay, and when I'm completely finished with my song and I want to like download it and bring it into my movie, I can go to Share, Export Song to Disk. So it's saying this is what it's called. This is like the date and time that it's exporting, and it's going to export onto the desktop. Sounds good. As an MP3, high quality. Wow, that all sounds fine. Okay, export. And that's it. You can find your files on your desktop.